Thank you for coming today, and we apologize we're a few minutes tardy. We are actually meeting with some IPs on the particular legislation. But as you might know, a silent epidemic exists. Every 6 minutes a child is sexually assaulted in the United States. As many as 1 in 4 girls and 1 in 6 boys are sexually assaulted before age 18. Unfortunately, only 1 in 10 children tell someone when this horrific act has actually occurred. Erin is the reason that we're all here today. She's a tireless advocate for protecting children from sexual assault. What we're doing through our legislation is age-appropriate instruction about child abuse prevention, emotional and educational support for a child of abuse to continue to be a successful student, and then third, instruction to children on actions they can take to obtain assistance and intervention if they are being sexually abused. After Ms. Merryn reached out to me with her personal story, I realized that her heartbreaking testimony is necessary in a world where so much evil exists. This story was unfortunately all too familiar. As Erin told me about the hell that she had experienced, my heart fell for every child who has been tortured and abused. My own mother experienced such ill fate as a child during her adolescence when she too was sexually abused by a family member. There are some things in this world that cannot be reversed, can never be completely healed, but can in some circumstances be prevented or reduced through the power of education. Erin Merryn has made her life's work about saving children from the evil that exists by making her mission education about sexual abuse in America. She has been honored for her service as Woman of the Year in 2012 by Glamour magazine because she has taken her personal crusade and turned it into a public one. Erin has been recognized nationally as a leader on this issue by Oprah, MSNBC, CNN, Time Magazine, USA Today, Fox, and many more news sources. She has spoken at high schools, colleges, sexual assault centers, and child abuse conferences, the United States Department of Education, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, fundraisers, and community events. She is dedicated to the work of over 900 children's advocacy centers in America to help children heal. Erin believes everyone is born with a purpose, and she found her purpose through the pain that has taken place in her life. She decided at a young age to take a stance against evil and instead expose it to put a silent epidemic in the spotlight and be a voice for the voiceless. This legislation that we are putting forth helps to achieve one of Erin's many goals. She has a vision to educate children in hopes of lessening occurrences of sexual abuse and accessing available counseling and resources when they have been sexually abused. Each local school district would have the freedom to elect age-appropriate instruction in child sexual abuse prevention in the district's or school's health curriculum for students in grades kindergarten through 6. As you all know, I have been blessed to be working with Representative Ramos on this issue, who has had some students in his district particular, I think, move him and pull his heart in this direction to work on this issue. So I'd like to give him a few minutes as well to speak to the legislation.
Thank you, Representative Hagan. My name is Dan Ramos, State Representative in the 56th District in Lorain County. As Representative Hagan said, this issue was brought to me in February of 2013 by a group of students at Lorain County Community College. We worked together and they lobbied me and we're bringing this issue forward, something they're trying to push statewide and of course across the country. I learned of Representative Hagan's interest as well, and I've been very fortunate to work very closely with her in a joint manner on this. Few issues that we deal with in the legislature or in general can affect the long-term mental health and success of a student as much as the tragedy of sexual abuse. I believe we have an obligation to our communities and to our state citizens, particularly to our children, to find common ground when working on issues that affect children and their education. If there's one thing we should always be able to agree on, is that our children's safety needs to be a priority. As stated, as many as 300,000 children are sexually abused in this country each year. It's truly impossible to know the amount of children who are abused. We've seen, as has been said, possibly 1 in 4 girls, as many as 1 in 6 boys have been a type of some sort of sexual abuse, but there's no way to truly tell. The fact of the matter is, each of us probably knows someone in our family or our friends or loved ones who have been a victim of this horrible crime. This law is named after Erin Merryn, who you'll hear from next, and her work has helped this type of legislation pass all over the country. It's passed in California, Connecticut, Louisiana, New Hampshire, New Mexico, Rhode Island, South Carolina, Tennessee, Utah, Arkansas, Illinois, Michigan, Mississippi, Nevada, Indiana, Maine, Missouri, Texas, and Vermont. There aren't too many pieces of legislation that have that type of broad range of support. These are deep red states, deep blue states. Frankly, the fact that Representative Hagan and I are working on this together, I think will show the level of cross the aisle support this kind of legislation has had. You may or may not know, we've not always voted together on every piece of legislation.
It's a minor dilemma.
Every so often we disagree. This legislation would not be prescriptive, though. It would allow the Ohio Department of Education to work with the local school districts so that each district will be able to come up with their own plan, or to take the model that the ODE presents and implement it in a manner that they deem as appropriate for their community. It's important that we realize how widespread this issue is, and our hopes beyond the main point of keeping our children safe is that bringing this forward will provide some level of knowledge that this is an issue that affects every community, this affects every family, this affects all over our state, and that we need to be aware of it. I'm happy to be here today. I'm happy, frankly, as a man, I think men need to be allies in this movement as well. And I'm very happy and proud to work with Representative Hagan and, of course, to work with Erin.